Hey, 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 good evening, good evening, good evening.
What's going on?
Oh,
How's your hammer hanging?
oh God. Short like a lemon, want to get a little tardy.
Oh, damn.
Hey, look who's back, everybody. We got Sax Man back. We had to go and hunt this guy down, right? Like, chain him to the damn table.
Look who's back in town.
You should have seen the massage parlor we had to drag his ass out of.
They said it was free. It wasn't free.
What was the Chinese midget doing in there? That's all I want to know.
I don't know. He was handing out towels.
It was a hot towel.
Okay, I got a funny story for everyone to start this shit off. Since it's Taco Thursday, anything can happen, right? I'm the first owner in history to have a pair of lesbian chickens.
Okay.
You're gonna have to dye their hair now.
Well, I was telling my wife, I told her that, we've got two lesbian chickens. And she said, no, they're not that way. I said, I guarantee you, if they were human, there'd be a rainbow flag flying in that fucking coop.
I saw that one and it was wearing Birkenstocks, so I agree.
Hey, I got two hens that laid on eggs, and only one of them ended up having any chicks. It only ended up with one chick. So they co-parent the chick. And so at night, they lay together, and the chick's right there with them. And everywhere they go, they're together. Those two hens.
Like Fran and Gertrude.
I don't think I'd visit that Tractor Supply again for chickens.
These chickens didn't come from Tractor Supply. These came from a damn breeder, dude.
That's even worse.
Look, they are not my pets. Chickens to me serve two purposes: eggs and chicken wings. That's it. Or a good fried chicken breast. I ain't gonna give them a name. They're gonna be named shit like chicken nugget, chicken salad, chicken sandwich. I'm not gonna give them names.
Hey, supper.
You're not gonna name one of them chicken tender?
Yeah, I got. You know what? I named the damn chicken, the baby chick. You know what its name is?
Chicken nugget?
Nugget. You're damn right. Named it Nugget. Jay, it was not a lesbian. It was not a lesbian breeder, but
Were they from up north?
no. These are bred here in this state.
Well, yeah.
Did Jay tell you where to go get those chickens?
No, Jay didn't have a hand in this one. But anyways, I just thought I would go ahead and throw that out there that, I've got a aberration of nature living in my chicken coop. So,
Ouch, Jay.
Texas
So
chicken.
what are their pronouns? Just out of curiosity.
Austin chickens. There's a big difference.
I don't know what breed these two are. I just know that there's something mentally wrong with them.
What are their pronouns?
I don't know what the fuck the pronouns are. I don't speak chicken.
Mark.
I know they get pissed off when I go back there because them two dumbasses lay on all the eggs. And so I have to open up the nesting box, nesting box. I have to open it up, hold that, and then lift one of them dumb bitches out so I can get to the eggs. The whole time they're trying to peck at you and raise hell. The chicks run around in circles like they don't know what the hell's going on. Thinks it's a Chinese fire drill. And it's just, it's stupid and comical at the same time.
Sounds like liberal chickens, yeah.
Well, that'd be about right, because when you go to the damn gate, they all come running to you wanting a handout. I mean, damn. Democratic chickens, that says it all, doesn't it? I got woke fucking chickens in my backyard. Who would have known?
Instead of my dog's a Democrat, my chickens are Democrats.
Oh, well, now that we've started things off, who wants to take up? Now that I'm done, I'll step off the podium and give it to somebody else.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and so we get this out of the way. Has anybody found anything out about the cocaine that was found in the White House?
It was mostly peacefully snorted.
I'm sure it was. You know, they wanted to check purity, quality testing, and all that kind of stuff before.
Well, they wanted to make sure it wasn't anthrax.
Yeah. But have they figured out who it was? Who
No,
put it there? Anything?
no. I mean, I think they need to get J. Edgar Hoover on the case because apparently, Secret Service just don't know what they're doing.
Wasn't he a cross-dresser as well?
Yeah, I was about to say, he's probably at a party right now in his high heels. So
True Patriot Nation.
Brother, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Damn.
Facts. Absolutely.
no update for me.
No update. I think
faith one day someone will have an update for me. I have faith.
I keep waiting for one. I mean, maybe y'all write a letter.
Yeah, it was. I guess we'd go on change.org and sign a petition.
There you go.
Release the name of the owner of the cocaine in the White House.
Or you could just go walk the streets of Washington, D.C. and be a dealer. You'll find out really quick. You'll find out really fucking quick.
Yep.
I could write him a letter, and say my name is T and that I'd like to sample the cocaine so I could help figure out where it came from.
You do whatever you got to do.
Might want to be careful sending letters or making any post or anything,
Well, I mean,
dangerous times.
This is true. I mean, if they find out that you own a Chevrolet or GMC or, don't have at least 5,000 Chinese yen or whatever, you could be targeted for some investigations.
Now, the crazy thing is, had they found, that much cocaine in anybody's house, that's either watching or on here, you'd have, 50 agents swarming all over the place. They'd know whose it was within, 5 minutes. They'd shoot your dog, too.
They'd shoot everything and confiscate everything. Bunch of damn greedy fucks.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a roll of toilet paper when they were done.
You can't trust anybody anyway nowadays.
No.
Think of it this way. Even your fucking shadow leaves you when it's dark, right? In dark times. So don't trust any fucking body.
He's got a point. Got a point. I mean, the thing that really gets to me is that when I was growing up, granted, the only thing I thought of, and yes, I know it's going to tell my age, which is fine. I'm cool with that. When I was in high school, I'll never forget, I was getting ready to graduate, and we bombed Libya. Reagan bombed the shit out of Libya. And I thought right then, oh, fuck, here goes the draft. I guess I'll be wearing fatigues next month. Because I figured we were going to get into some shit. But it never dawned on me that the very country I was growing up in and, enjoying all these freedoms and liberties was going to turn on its people like this one has. This is not what any of us grew up in, or for those of you who served in one form or another. This is not what y'all signed up for. This isn't the republic you swore to protect. It's been perverted into something else. And it's now it's like a political machine that's used to basically smite anybody who opposes the regime that's in charge. And it's depressing. And I've said this many a time. It makes me fear for my children and grandchildren because they're going to be reaping the rewards of this shit. Thoughts?
Oh yeah, I mean, you're spot on. It's what we grew up to fear and or hope for. Yeah, this is night and day different. I mean, I would have never ever thought that I would, you would be scared of your own government. Not, you know what I mean.
It's not scared. It's just you're. Let me think of the word I'm looking for.
Concerned that they weren't looking out for your best interest.
Right. Well, that's the whole thing. Our government is no longer about the people; it's about themselves and the regime that's running things. I'll be very surprised. And again, I hope I'm wrong. I truly do. This is just I guess me being a defeatist, maybe, or a glass half empty, whatever the hell you want to call me, negative Nancy. I'll be very surprised if we're able to push those crooked bastards out of the White House.
Oh yeah.
Well, they cheated once and they got away with it. They'll do it again.
Well,
Allegedly.
there was a legend.
81 million votes, y'all.
Look, 81 million people took the time to vote for Bedshitter.
Yeah.
Don't be throwing shade on those people that got up and voted for him on that day.
Right.
And
6 months prior and the week after.
can I ask one just simple question? How many people voted for Trump? Wasn't it like 76 million?
I don't know. I don't know the exact number.
So you mean to tell me that 155 million people showed up to polls that day and voted?
Well, see, here's where I'm going to try and curl my tongue because I do not want a strike from the brown shirts. On paper, yes, that many people showed up. And I'm just going to leave it there.
There's only like 330 million Americans.
I don't know what to tell you, dude. I don't tell you. Apparently, the census is way off.
We just had a census deal in 2020, and
I don't usually respond to census workers if I can help it. They end up having to come back to my place 2 or 3 times and end up with a supervisor with them. So, because that's another government entity that is there for 2 things: to get into your fucking business and to cost you more money. They're not there to benefit you in any way, such, shape, or form. So,
Speaking of costing any way, shape, or form, Keith, it's a good time to transition straight into that subject you wanted to talk about.
Which one are we talking about? The one where the federal government thinks that the taxpayers are an ATM?
Yes.
Okay.
Civil forfeitures.
Yep. Well, on the surface, I understand what forfeitures were intended for. Like if you were Tony Montana and they came in and busted your ass, they took everything because it was gotten through or gotten gains. Okay, cool. I understand that. But the current government model we have uses that basically to do whatever they want to whoever they want. And you don't necessarily have to go to trial. So, we've got a government watchdog group that has noticed this and brought it to the attention. I don't know if any of you have been paying attention to it, but I mean, you're talking billions of dollars in revenue the government is racked up off of its private citizens.
I think it said 30 million in 1 year.
Oh, it's an enormous amount.
And they're turning around using firms to teach them how to use things better. They're spending $6 million or $6 billion.
Uh-huh.
So essentially, like, what is that? A fifth of it, they're reinvesting back in so they can go and seize more.
So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
It's probably a company that a bunch of politicians are heavily invested in or own that's getting the kickback for the money, or somebody at the DOJ. Because the money all runs a cycle when it gets that high up the food chain. And somebody up top, somebody's ass in DC is making profit on the back end of it. That's guaranteed.
So
100% profit.
How is this different than, a little something that happened a couple of 100 years ago, where British troops could be quartered in your house and take whatever they needed to sustain themselves, and you had no recourse for anything? Or how a government could come in and say, you know what, you might be doing something a little sketchy, so we're going to take this, but don't feel bad because it's going to go to a good cause.
Yeah. That's basically where we're at. The only difference is we have cell phones now.
So you can imagine that the original 13 colonies had more freedom under British rule than we do right now.
Because there's still a rule of law.
Yeah, but when your rule of law doesn't protect the citizenry, then something's amiss.
Well, but now, even when the British, back when you're talking about, you still had the rule of law the British had put in place. It might not work in the colonists' favor, but there was a rule of law. Right now, the rule of law is on a sliding scale.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, think about this. Me and Vanguard were talking about this earlier. All of you are familiar with the FBI or ATF raid where the guy in his house that killed him.
Which one?
This was just recently. Vanguard, you might know more about it than I do.
Yeah, so this gentleman, I'm going to pull up his name where I'm accurate. Excuse me, but there was a gentleman, older gentleman, I believe he was in his 70s. So he had posted several threatening, and I mean, pretty, to be honest with it, I mean, they were pretty blatant threats, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So apparently Biden was coming to Utah or some shit like this, and this guy just straight up put out on a damn social post that he's going to get his ghillie suit out and his M24 sniper rifle. Right? Then he also made the statement that the only thing that would make him happy is to see Biden laying in a dark corner of a parking deck or something like that, right? So that's pretty bold and blatant statements that he made.
Yeah.
I do not know. I'm looking it up, but I know the end result was the FBI showed up to do a raid or execute a warrant, right?
Yep.
And ultimately, the guy ended up losing his life. Now, the original statement that come out said that he fired 2 shots. Then the latter statements are not confirming that. Okay. Let me see. All right. So this guy apparently went by the name Provo Man. All right, so it states here that FBI shoots and kills Provo man accused of threatening President Biden's life. Utah man killed by FBI pointed a gun at the agents before the fatal shooting. See, now it's saying he just pointed the gun at him.
Right.
The initial statement was that he fired 2 shots.
Well, they had to put something out there so it wasn't a public outcry.
Right.
I mean, me and you were talking about this. Here's my thinking. And let me be perfectly clear. And as clear as I possibly can without drawing it in crayon for those out there that are too ignorant to understand the English language. I am not trying to incite violence or any kind of rebellion against the government. I'm making an observation, an educated observation. There's going to come a point in time if the government continues to, and I'm not saying this guy wasn't at fault. I don't know all the particulars. I wasn't involved. I didn't have the intel or anything else. So I don't know all the particulars. But we've heard this kind of treatment of people time and time again, and it's going to be more commonplace, which doesn't sound like United States law enforcement, but more of something like the Stasi or the KGB back in the day. Okay? There's going to come a point in time where they're going to try this with somebody who has got the opinion that, okay, well, I can't get a fair trial because the government's corrupt. They're coming for me. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life in a hole without my family. So I'm going to go out like a Viking. And that's when all this shit's going to go sideways. And I truly believe the regime we have in place, this is what they want. They want somebody to snap. And they want to be able to spin it in a way where they can say, this is why you don't need militias. This is why you don't need the AR-15. This is why you don't need ammunition. This is why you need to ban this and ban that. And this is why we need to stop social media from putting, what's the word I'm thinking of? Uncorroborated data or false this or false that. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get justification to get the public behind it. And if they're able to make somebody pop off like this and do something drastic, then it plays right into them.
Absolutely. In the words of Al Sharpton, and YouTube, you can look at this, you can check this out. Could you imagine if Thomas Jefferson overthrew a government? Yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's this whole, thought police. The guy can. Yeah, you don't need to put stuff out that, and you know what this guy said.
No.
You don't need to broadcast it out. But then again, you're talking about that sliding scale, and I have no idea what this guy's race was or his politics, but I guarantee you, if this would have happened to, say, a melanated person, and they just went in there and shot him and his dog, then there'd be a huge outcry. There'd probably be riots, and they'd make a statue, instead of saying, why didn't somebody come up there and try to reason with this person, or why were there not counselors on the scene to calm him down? You're very right. You hit it on the head, because again, this regime wants to target a certain demographic of people, mainly the ones that love their country and actually do have militias and stuff like that, and that's who they're specifically targeting. And if you can't see it, you're either slow or on the spectrum, one of the two.
Or you're Democrat.
Or you're Democrat.
Or you could be Ray Charles.
I guess. I think I think the thing is that, ultimately what it would lead to is if you get some kind of armed or violent engagement between citizenry and the government, whether the citizens are out of line or not, if it becomes some kind of engagement, they're going to televise it, they're going to put it on a 24-hour news cycle, and it's going to be like watching shit pop off overseas somewhere in Mogadishu, and they're going to spin it that way to get a fervor built up and a fear to push the narrative. And it's targeting the middle class, it's targeting conservatives. Specifically, I think, and this is my opinion, I think it's targeting white conservatives.
Well, my question is why didn't the FBI run up to fucking Kathy Griffin when she was holding a severed head claiming that it was Trump? Y'all remember that?
Oh yeah.
I remember.
Why the fuck didn't they roll up on her shit?
Because it was okay for her to do it.
Well, it was Trump. If it was anybody else, they would have done it. But since it was Trump, it was okay.
So what do you think our federal government would do? I guess y'all have, I don't know if y'all saw it or not, but the whole, what's going down in South Africa right now about the farmers.
You're going to have to fill me in because I'm not.
All right. So, that used to be an apartheid state, right?
Correct.
Okay. So they got rid of apartheid. It is a majority black country.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Hey, great, super. They're all humans, except for the fact that since they ended the apartheid state, the government has actively, they've kind of turned their heads to the fact that, you got all these Boers over there, which were, Dutch colonials back in the day.
Right.
That are farmers. Now, these people keep the country going, they keep them fed, stuff like that. But you have political leaders over there that are actively saying, you need to kill all these white folk, and especially the farmers, because they own the land, and, we can't have white folks owning land and making food. But, I mean, it's not like they're doing it silently. There's a mass exodus of these folks coming to America, going back to, Germany, all sorts of places, trying to get out of the country.
I personally know a family that left South Africa and came here.
Yeah. I mean, but, the government there is actively, let's kill Whitey, kill the Boers. So what would you, I don't know, man. It's it would be interesting to see if our federal government would say that's not nice. You can't say that.
You already know the answer to that, dude.
I know the answer to it, but it's just something to throw out there and stick in your head.
Here's the thing that just blows my mind. Okay, it's not the majority that wants to get wrapped up in this bullshit.
Exactly.
Okay? Of any nationality. All right? But the way the government and the media spins it, all these people, they won't change. They think that the Constitution needs to be redone. They think, we should pay reparations and do this and do that. That's not true. It's a small percentage. What they're trying to do is they're trying to bend the majority to that way of thinking.
Yeah.
And to accept it. I can't tell you how many times I go in a place, and those of you who know me and know where I reside, you know that I'm a minority. Okay? I went in a chicken shack today that I frequent, and again, I'm the only dude in there. And young black girl waiting on me, just nice can be, sitting there having a conversation. You don't even think about what her complexion is, or her nationality, or her upbringing, or anything else. We're just two human beings having a friendly conversation while I'm waiting on my food, and then talking as I'm getting ready to leave. That tells me right there that it's not a cultural issue necessarily, and it's not a racial issue so much as it's a kind of a, think of it as a
Manufactured
like
psyop.
yeah, exactly. It's a government manufactured psyop on the different groups of people in the country to turn them against each other and keep them turned and fuel that fire.
Well, they
Because-
want it then. They don't want us getting along.
Well, no, they
They
don't.
don't want you going in that restaurant and you and that girl getting along.
No, they do not. They want me and her to get into some kind of confrontation because she spit in my damn food or looked at me funny.
Well, it's like Morgan Freeman said. You want racism to go away? Stop fucking talking about it.
Thank you. And imagine that as a black man that said it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and
They
say
fucked
that.
up when they asked him was he oppressed, and they fucked up when they asked Lil Wayne when he was oppressed
Exactly.
because they did not like the answer.
No. Well, it didn't further their cause. I mean, yeah, racism exists, but not to the degree that the media and government would have you believe. It exists more so when they're trying to push an initiative or a narrative. And then it's kind of like another psyop where they're trying to instill that mindset in everybody to stir the pot and push an agenda. And it's just like people are too fucking lazy to. Well, I don't say people are too lazy because if that was true, I wouldn't have had that conversation today. I think there's people who just tune the shit out or they judge case by case basis. I mean, yeah, there's times when you may go somewhere and Sax, man, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You walk up in a place and you're like, I might need to go back and get my car.
Right.
We've all had those moments, but it's not the norm
Right.
necessarily. It's more like an outlier, and people need to wake the fuck up and stop getting sucked into this nonsense, because all this shit you're seeing between the woke shit and the trans bullshit and all this other deviancy and everything else, everything's a fucking psyop to keep us at each other's throats and use smoke and mirrors on the public so the government can do whatever they want to fucking take our rights and our liberties and freedoms from us and sell us down the fucking river to whoever's going to make them rich tomorrow. Because that's exactly what this current government's doing.
Amen.
All right, I'll shut up.
Hey, brother, you're on the roll. What about stop you?
I like it.
I mean, sometimes I go on tangents. I apologize.
All right. But I remember somebody saying something one time, that first thing you do is you fucking take away the successful, productive education system, right? Then you dumb motherfuckers down and then you can control them. That's the way it is. It's been happening for many, many, many years. And we talked about that on our last live, right? Teachers just need to do their fucking job, teach the curriculum.
Yep. They need to get off this whatever agenda they're trying to do and just teach, 2 + 2 is 4. I mean, instead of trying to be an activist, why don't you try to be a teacher first?
Well, here's another thing too. Now you got to think, and if you look at most of these videos of the fucktards, it's usually people that are 40 or below, right? So my point is the implementation of the dumbed down education began with that age group. And if you're 35 and you're in your 30s and 40s, look, I'm not taking a stab at you. You're an exception to the situation. All right. So what I'm getting at is when I went to school and when probably all of you went to school, the teacher did not want to be your fucking friend. Okay. They didn't want to hang out with you after school. They didn't want to, eat lunch with you, none of that shit. Okay. But nowadays, it's the popular thing for your kids to like you, right? So what do these teachers do? They try to do things that goes with the masses of the students on their thought process in order to be a popular teacher. And it's terrible. I mean, I had some teachers, man, they didn't give a shit what you thought. I can promise you that. Is you going to learn this shit or no? You're going to fail. So I got an interesting fact, so in my school system, we had to do, my history teacher, I had to do this gigantic presentation, the whole class did, on the Confederate War. Now, would you like to take a guess what color my teacher was?
Polka dot.
Green.
She was black. But she was educated in the history of the Confederate flag and
Right.
the war. People get complete misinformation to think that the war was about slavery. No, it was not. Okay, the war started because the states implemented when they formed the Union and everything, or formed this country, they put in that if the government got out of control or had overreach, that they could take it back. Okay, so it got to that point, and then the southern states were like, "Hey, no, we're about to take this shit back over," and then the war started. And then later on, slavery was brought in.
You also forgot one other thing that kind of about the taxation and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was government overreach.
Yeah. But see, here's the difference with that then and now. We as a people have become complacent and lazy. And we've become, a lot of us, not myself or anyone here per se, but a lot of the American people are perfectly fine giving up something to stay comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? As long as they can still go to Starbucks or get their government check or, have the McDonald's, they're okay with you not letting them do X, Y, or Z. And there's your problem right there. Because our forefathers would have never stood for any of this shit.
Well, and there goes, I keep going back to the education. People don't know what they're giving up. They don't understand. And if they don't know, then they just don't know. So if a lot of people, you hear all this stuff about pistol bracing, Second Amendment, this, ghost guns, blah, blah, blah. Think about how many people out there in our country that really has no fucking clue what that means. Zero. Like, it doesn't pertain to them, right?
Nope.
They got their head in the sand. They're like, oh, they can take away these right-wingist guns and stuff like that. But what they don't realize is when the shit hits the fan, they're going to be trying to run to our neighborhoods, run to our houses to seek asylum from all the crazies, right? From the psychos that actually have weapons.
Yep.
With malice intent, right?
Yep.
And I mean, I can go ahead and tell you right now, I'll help anybody I can, but if some shit pops off and a motherfucker shows up in my house with pink, purple, or some off-color fucking hair, they can keep on fucking walking.
Tell them to hop in that Prius and keep going.
Right.
I'm telling you, no leggings and tutus allowed, motherfuckers.
That's it.
Well, talking about school, how many of your kids have ever come home with like a pocket constitution from school?
Mine,
None, right?
mine has.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a good thing because, that should be drilled in them from grade 1 to 12.
But I don't think it's taught hardly at all anymore.
It's hey, the
Laws.
Constitution. It's it's a document that hangs out somewhere, and here's a link to it if you want to check it out. But yeah, I mean, you're right, Vanguard. If you don't know what your rights are, they will take them away in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Yep.
the things don't want them. If you don't get out and exercise your rights, the government also thinks you don't want them. They just take them away.
Well, I'll tell you what pisses me off. People pick and choose what constitutional values they want to have, right? Like you got all these fucking leftists out there running around and shit, and they want to preach, "Oh, it's my First Amendment. It's my First Amendment." Okay, you care about that, but you don't care about my Second Amendment. So, all due respect, go fuck yourself.
Well, the thing is, the Second Amendment was put in place to protect all the other amendments.
Yep.
Correct.
There's your sign.
But
I mean,
but your First
they-
Amendment
the government-
Amendment rights are going away.
They said that they put that in there if the government was to ever become too tyrannical, the people would have the means to take it back.
Yeah, absolutely. You keep on in the past 2 years. The first thing that we wrote in the Constitution is going away. Anytime that your government decides that they want to attach hate to anything, like hate speech, blah blah blah, whatever, you can't even think it. That's going away. I mean, it's not necessarily hate. It's I disagree with your point of view, but you're in a position of power, so you can call it hate speech. So,
Yeah. So the new definition of hate speech means you hurt somebody's feelings.
yeah,
I mean, that's my opinion. YouTube. I'm not reading that out of fucking Wikipedia or nothing. Okay, that's my opinion. People are just too sensitive. I blame Oprah.
Oprah.
Yeah, for giving away the Corvette. She started the fucking pandemic of giving everybody free shit.
I blame Barney.
Oh wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm not spot on.
Eh,
I love you. You love me.
Look, man, T doesn't love you. Okay,
Like the
Sorry,
brother you never wanted. That's right.
don't you touch my drum set.
I will teabag your drum set.
Woo! Just dating. Well, I mean,
I don't know. Look, I'm very protective of the Constitution, and I honor the Constitution to the fullest. And I don't like for people to trample on it. I get really, really frustrated, and I can't stand. People want to exercise their rights to protection from judgment and stuff like that. They want to be able to exercise the First Amendment, but it just crawls my ass that they just want to throw. You can't pick and choose which one you want to go with. It just doesn't work that way. Either you support it all or you don't support any of it. And I mean, corruption's worldwide. I'm trying to think. I seen it today. It popped up. Maybe y'all seen it. Some country, they're about to have votes for a presidential election or something in some country, and the fucking running party that was against the current one got killed.
Brazil. That was a Brazil thing.
yep.
That just happened. So, I mean, I'm not saying that happened here or would happen here, but I mean, just
That happened in Brazil. I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about that very thing.
Well, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's not surprising when you're talking about a third world banana republic like they're trying to turn us into. That's not surprising in Brazil, Venezuela, hell, Mexico. I can see it happening anywhere.
I was gonna say back during the late '70s and early '80s, that was like that would have been the meme, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yep.
of Mexico, do you know where our highest export of beef goes to?
Does it go to Mexico?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of exports and all that other shit, did y'all see what China's doing with rice?
I did not.
No.
I don't know if they're limiting the supply or they're doing something to affect the price of rice and the availability because it's a staple for lower income families, like especially here in the States, for instance. So if you make it where it's not available or it's expensive, there's another, dig at our economy and our livelihood, because we've become this whole world economy bullshit we've gotten wrapped up in.
It's a conspiracy. They want everyone to buy ramen noodles instead of rice.
It'll be whatever it is, but the point is we rely on too many places for shit we should have right here.
Yep.
Whether it be oil, medication, grain, whatever. There's no excuse for this country to be reliant on another country for its medication or food.
Food. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're the breadbasket of the world, dude.
Yeah.
There should be no hungry kid here.
Nope.
But yeah, you're right. Unless your farmland is owned by the Saudis or the Chinese,
that should never happen. They shouldn't own shit.
Yeah, they shouldn't, but they do. Yeah.
The only thing that fucktard should be able to invest in is commercial real estate, if that. And even then, there should be a limit on how much.
I think you should do it like they do in Mexico. If you're not a Mexican national, if you're not a citizen, you don't own property in the States. If you're from another country, you could rent it out all you want, but you don't own it.
Right.
Or you could lease it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. I understand.
I was about to say, I thought it was like a 99-year lease in Mexico.
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I know in Russia, Putin don't allow any foreign investment. They can invest and buy things or whatever, but there's a cap. So, like this shit we've got going on where the Chinese are coming in and buying property backed up to a damn military base or, buying all this property or this farmland or any of that shit, none of that be happening.
Yeah, I saw that video last night.
So
that was interesting.
Well, I mean, these are dangerous times, folks. People better pay attention.
Well, China's been stockpiling oil. They've been stockpiling gold, silver, and something else. And just in case something happens and they can't get stuff sent there by sea because of shipping blockade or a naval blockade, they've already got stuff there for reserves.
Yeah, but see, here's the problem with China. China has a hard time growing food because of its terrain and arable farmland. Okay, so they rely on a lot of mass-produced shit and a lot of imports from different countries like pork and whatnot. Yes, China is a superpower, but they're treated as a third world country. They get all these breaks. And while this is my thought, I believe China is a threat in the Pacific. I believe they are a threat here on our own soil to disrupt things. But as far as a military action, no. Disrupting shit, like shutting down the power grid and things like that, yeah, I can see that happening. But overall, they're no Russia. Okay? You could take China out of the game pretty quick if you impede their ass. But the problem is, we've become too fucking reliant on them for electronics, medicine, food. Well, not food, but let's say rice, for instance. A lot of cheap ass Chinesian junk, toys. God knows what else we get from there.
Anything you buy at Walmart.
Pretty much. But China, you could deal with China, but the problem is you gotta have somebody willing to deal with them, and we don't. We don't have anybody. Our government's too weak. We're in bed with them. And as far as Russia goes, Russia's a serious threat. Russia has the capability to put us in the Stone Age. Now, granted, they would probably get put in the Stone Age too in the process, but they have the ability to reach out and fucking touch something.
Well, it's like Albert Einstein said, he doesn't know what World War III, what weapons it'll be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones.
Yep. He was right.
Speaking of oil, did you hear about your president not wanting to fill up the National Reserve, the oil reserves again?
No, I did not hear that.
They're delaying it.
Well, at the prices I'm paying right now at the fucking pump, they need to be putting something somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's up to regular here is $3.66 a gallon.
Ours is $3.69. We always got to have the 9. We never have a last number that's anything other than that.
Right.
Our shit's gonna be $3.49 and 9/10 or some stupid shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that, but it the problem is, and the oil companies are partially to blame for this too. They're perfectly fine limiting how much product there is so they can raise up the price, because if the world runs on petroleum, they have everybody by the short hairs. And eventually CM fuel, at the rate they're going, eventually CM fuel under $4 a gallon for regular is going to be a thing of the past.
But yeah, so the thing is, if this regime had not, basically went to war with not just big oil, but the small oil companies as well, and limited production and limited leases and all this stuff, dude, you talking West Texas. As soon as they said, you know what, drill baby drill,
Yep.
It happened, and your oil prices went way down. But the cool thing about it was the fact that there was so much out there. You actually could prop up economies, local economies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work. It sucks, but people were making making more than a living doing it, and it's a complicated issue. It's not just all the big oil companies. Yeah, they do exactly what you're talking about. They can limit production or do whatever. But in the end, it really hurts those wildcatters and small companies that go out there and drill as well.
Well, if you remember back when Trump was still in office, we were paying under $2 a gallon here.
Yeah.
And as soon as Bedshitter got in there, that ended overnight.
Oh, yeah.
And it's done nothing but progressively go higher. So the whole, it's depressing to see this republic in the shape it's in, because it doesn't have to be.
Right.
That's what pisses you off. The only reason it's the way it is because the American people have either become ignorant or lazy, and the government's just running unchecked.
Yeah.
Now you got some politicians up there in Washington, I believe, that would do the right thing or trying to do the right thing half the time, but there's not enough of them. They're a minority. They're an outlier. And because of that, you can't change anything. This is the whole thing that fucked Trump. Now, granted, Trump was one of the people that he had that New York attitude where he's going to say what was on his mind. Well, politicians don't like that. They like to sugarcoat everything while they fuck you. And he wouldn't play ball with it. Well, that turned his own party against him. And here you go.
Yeah.
Orange man bad because he won't play ball. They can't manipulate him or control him because A, he's already got his own money. He don't need to rip off the American people and rape them. But see, all them politicians, they like that government teat they were getting all their money from. All the inside trading and all the stock options and all this inside bullshit and all these investments and things they were getting, Halliburton and everything else. They make money off the taxpayers and the country at our expense.
Oh yeah.
Every day.
I guarantee you, if you're a representative or a senator and you went up there and you could only serve 2 terms, one term, I guarantee you shit would get done faster. And you limit basically the 4 life perks that everybody gets.
There should be no 4 life perks.
There should not be. And you do away with insider trading, by making it illegal, not just by saying, oh, that's a bad thing, you can't do it, by making it illegal.
Yeah, prosecute their ass.
Yeah. Then do it to it. If you will go up there and you will prosecute Martha Stewart, but you won't prosecute everybody else that goes in there making $74,000 a year and they come out millionaires, multi-millionaires. Yeah.
Right.
Your government loves you, people.
Yeah. They love us. They love us as damn sheep. They're like a damn parasite. It's like your ass went swimming and came with a fucking leech on your nuts.
On your dick. Yeah.
I'm serious. Tell me I'm wrong. Them some bitches done hooked onto somewhere and they're trying to suck your ass dry and you be happy about it.
Yeah.
Like they're doing you a damn favor.
Well, they only love you around election time.
Yeah, well, Patriot Nation is exactly right. If you had term limits, that would change things because right now they have zero motivation because there's no checks and balances. They run rampant. These motherfuckers vote their own raises. What kind of insane bullshit is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Vote their own raises? I remember hearing that shit back in the day and said, what the fuck did I just hear?
That's kind of like, your vice president when she talks about how everybody's doing great now. We had the last time that I got a raise, inflation was at 9%. I got a cost of living raise of 2%. So, yeah, there's a big fucking discrepancy there.
Yeah, because in order, for those of you who do not understand economics and simple math, in order for you to keep up with the cost of living, quote unquote, your raise should technically match or surpass said interest rate at that time, or the average interest rate for that 12-month period. Just saying.
Yeah.
2% ain't getting it.
You're about 7% shy there, Sax man.
Yeah.
And not just from breaking even.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, that's like, and that was kind of the national average at the time too. So it's not like I'm the only one. It's just the fact that, it has become, they sit there and will tell you to your face, that you're doing better in the past 2 years, that everybody's got a job, that it's easier to buy stuff at the grocery store. And half of the country, 81 million people, will say, you know what, you're right.
But that's because it's like the old saying: you keep throwing something against the wall and trying to see if something will stick.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're faking it until you make it. That's what they're doing because they can't tell the truth. So they're going to keep pushing that same old bullshit, beating that drum, getting more and more people to drink that fucking Kool-Aid and start believing it. And it's untrue. Unless you have a what's the word I'm looking for? Unless you have a very close relationship with a crack pipe every night and some imported shrooms, if you live in reality, none of that shit is true.
Yeah.
All right? So it's not better. I know for a damn fact he's right.
Yeah. I got a vein bulging right here on the middle of my scalp.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You about to go all Lou Ferrigno on this shit?
Yeah. Except I really don't want to tear my pants.
Well, that just means you gotta go back to Wally World.
Yeah, get more Chinesian pants.
That's what I'm saying. Get that quality shit.
Right?
There was a couple 8-year-olds who were busy making that shit 6 months ago.
This is true. This is true.
I mean, I'll loan you a plate carrier if you need it.
Right? No, I think torn pants would be just fine. I'll walk in there. I'll blend in with the crowd.
Dude, you don't even do that. Throw some Crocs and some fucking pajamas on. You're good to go.
Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to get you a fake grill.
Grills. Yeah.
And so when you're going down to the Wally, just slap that bitch in when you pull in and walk with a hitch in your step.
Yep. But you know what's funny?
What
Is
he
they-
needed, no, you need some black sweatpants that say pink on the back.
Pink. All right.
Well, I told him his name is Christine.
Get me a tramp stamp, but you talking about grills, those fake grills.
Yeah.
You can get those in the toy aisle. I shit you not. I've seen them there.
Well, I'm sure you can. You know, you want to start them young.
That's right.
I mean, it's just the joy of living in this country.
Yeah.
Keep paying your taxes.
That's it.
Millions on welfare depend on it.
That's it.
Mm.
You know, if you ever want to know where your tax dollars are, I want you to ride through the hood and wave at everybody on the stoop.
Yeah, no shit.
Drive fast.
Drive fast and wave.
Don't fucking blink.
Yeah, don't blink and make sure your hand's open because what's going to happen, they're either going to try to take your car or shoot you or both. So just kind of ride through quick, throw up your hand at everybody and keep going. Drive like you know where you're going. Don't do it like you're the Domino's guy trying to find a house. Because they're going to read about your ass in the back of the milk carton.
Right. Picture's gonna be all washed out.
Missing mayonnaise devil.
Exactly. Oh, Duke's mayonnaise, man. Duke's.
Just saying.
Oh.
All right. I've beat the drum all I can tonight, Vanguard.
Good. So
Well,
we'll be back Tuesday.
Did you hear about what happened in, I think it was Portland yesterday?
What happened in Portland?
What's that reporter's name? Andy Known?
Yeah.
the one that got beat up by Antifa. He had a civil lawsuit apparently against the guys that jumped him, and the the defense attorney in her closing
Oh yeah.
statement, she said something about she is Antifa and she's
I
gonna get a T-shirt made and wear it. And anyway, Andy Nome did not win his case. The From what I've kind of gathered, in my opinion, I think the jury might have kind of been intimidated a little bit.
No.
There was
Sure
some
not.
there was some things there's some shady things going on.
Not there.
yeah.
Not in that utopia,
Left coast is done for, man.
bruh. We don't have enough containers to wall that bitch off.
No. I did at this point. Just give them to Canada.
You think Canada would take them?
I mean, yeah, they're the same.
Trudeau would love it. That'd be
Yeah.
more fucktards for him to run roughshod over and tell him what to do. He'd love that shit. I mean, I'll shut up.
I'm trying, Van. I promise you, I'm trying.
Say, fuck it.
Come on, T. Tell us how you really feel.
I've been telling everybody how I really feel for the past hour.
You know, how does that make you feel, though?
I can't say it on the internet. They would have to.
Can you explain with signals, signs?
I don't have enough fingers.
Show us on the doll where it hurts you.
They've already had to task 3 drones. I don't want to make them task.
Right. Okay.
All right, Moose, you up, brother?
I'm up.
Yep.
Drop some knowledge, some wisdom, something.
All right. Well, if you drop some knowledge, be sure you always remember where you dropped it, so you can always go back and pick it up. Because I always forget where I dropped it, and that's a problem. Spend the rest of the day trying to find it, never find it, and then come to find out the dog ate my homework, and just a bad nightmare. Anyway, on a serious note, though, everybody, just pay attention. Like we always say on here, pay attention. Pay attention to news, what's going on. Don't buy into it. Do your own research. Well, there's holler and look over here. Don't look over just there. Look everywhere else too. Have your head on a swivel. Be safe. Go ahead, Sax. You up?
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. Well, I don't know if I've ever said this before, but don't trust your government. Just understand that anything that comes from up there, I really don't care at this point whether it has a D or an R at the end of it. I wouldn't trust them any farther than I could fucking throw them. That being said, I think I'm past the point of saying don't let it get you down, to the point of you really need to start being concerned. Yeah, you don't want to let it get you down, but I think the point of let's let it lie, or here's a good one, it'll all work itself out, is yeah, I knew it'd get you. But that point is gone. So do with that what you will, and I hope y'all have an excellent weekend.
All right, T.
Kind of to hinge off what you've already heard and what I generally say. you know, people need to wake up, and people need to start understanding that there may come a time and a place where, again, it's going to be incumbent upon you as a person to be aware of everything and take care of everything and protect everything, because there's no one coming to help you. If we don't right this ship, or somebody, inside of the next decade, we're not going to have a republic. Do with that what you will. What I would encourage each and every one of you to do with the election coming up next year, if you're not already involved, get involved. Spend a little bit of time and get involved with your local election board or whatever. Monitor, whatever. Do something. Be part of the process. At least then you can say, I tried. That's all I got.
Copy that. Yeah. So, and I mean, I'll hinge on what you said about the Republican portion. So, the Republicans being hit on the outside as well as internally, it's going away on both ends. So, it'd be best if everybody could see the light at the end of the tunnel and know that the Democratic Party does not give a damn about any race, creed, or religion at all. Okay. It's a self-serving agenda. And that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been, technically, if everybody would actually look at their history book. But, yeah. I mean, I like what Trump said one time, and it's always stuck with me. He said that he's the only thing standing in between the government and the people. That's why they don't like him. All right. I know we've got a bunch of dumbasses that's going to run on the Republican Party. They're wasting their time and wasting taxpayers' money. But they're going to do it anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, y'all vote for Pence.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
And I got a better one right in Romney.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
God.
Jeez.
Oh,
Somebody spit up a little bit of dinner.
yeah. Dang quesadilla.
Mm-mm. But yeah, those of y'all in my area or on my side of the hemisphere, it's supposed to be hot this weekend. Y'all stay hydrated. Get out, be active as you can. I know it's going to be extremely hot. Okay. Looks like I got some clear weather for the next few days, so that's a plus. So maybe I'll get to do something. I don't know. But anyway, y'all take care. Thank y'all for coming by the live. Absentee, Moose, Saxman, as always. I appreciate y'all's attendance, guys. Great live tonight. Last video, we got quite a bit of views on there. It was an uptick of 200%. So that's a plus, right? The name's getting out there. Maybe they just accidentally didn't shadow ban that one. I don't know. But anyway, other than that, that's all I got. So y'all take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see y'all Tuesday. Take care, guys.
Night, y'all.
Got everyone.
Bye, everybody.